Romero, hey, it's a pleasure to meet you and
Oh,
congratulations on this new documentary, The Britto Doc.
oh, thank you so much. Usually I'm not dressed up like that, but I just came from the draw of FIFA for the World Cup Brazil that's happening here in US next year. So the draw is going to be happening tomorrow. I did the rehearsal today. So I just came from the rehearsal. So all dressed up.
No, it's a pleasure that you actually took out the time because I know you have a very busy schedule because you do so many things. But let me start with this question: is how did this documentary came about with you?
Well, the producers approached us to do this documentary, and I was like, excited about that they were interested in doing something to tell my story. So that's how it happened, and I was like, okay, all right. So I'll do. I would love to, tell my story to you guys, and then you share to everybody.
A lot of people will have a chance to watch the Brittle Doc. What story specifically do you want like audiences to know about you?
Well, I think what does happen, not everyone, but there's some people out there that when they see somebody, let's say it's very successful, they don't know what you go through to be there. And I think for a young person, when you see a building being done, built, or you still hear somebody like, let's say, like Elon Musk or Einstein, like people that are living or people that are no longer living, they don't understand how much you have to um, to go through to do something spectacular. And being an artist, a lot of time people just think that my life started yesterday. Do you know what I mean? But I've been doing things. I've been working on my art for so many years to be able to go through the gates of Buckingham Palace. Do you understand? So
I do,
not
I
that.
do.
So I do think that for a young artist, maybe not for everyone that gets, amazing, successful people out there, whatever way they got their success, they have more a better understanding. But for somebody young starting out, I think it could be like a story of inspiration that they can see it. So
Now, how do you define success for an artist?
how well for an artist. You can do the most beautiful painting, you can do the best acting, but if nobody see your paintings or nobody can see you acting, if you're gonna get somebody like I don't know, what do you consider being the best in Hollywood or in movies today or from yesterday? But if we never saw their movies in a big way, you wouldn't think that there would be a successful actor. Or the same thing, if we never saw the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo or Picasso or Matisse, how could you tell that they were successful? Not, we couldn't say that they were not good, because you can be good, you can be a diamond and never be found. In 1 trillion years, someone can find, that diamond, that Cullinan somewhere, and then will be always a diamond. You can be always a huge talent, but not, you know, you can be, yeah, but yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? I maybe not. Maybe I'm not being very clear. You can be always a diamond without ever being found,
Hmm.
but it wouldn't be so great that, as an artist, that nobody can see your art. How, yeah, is
How
that
about the, I understand. How are you so comfortable with your success and celebritydom? Because a lot of people admire your art in the world.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened is that it didn't come to me all at once. It came slowly. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's really hard, if let's say, if you do a music and all of a sudden you become super famous one day to another, or if you win the lottery or you get married to somebody super rich, and then it may like be like overwhelming for you to, but if you're born in a family that you're super rich, you get used to it, you know. But it was not my case. Everything came slowly. It was not all at once. So slowly, and then I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm here. But I but it's becoming like little by little, you know,
Now, your
which is
your your history is so fascinating because, being born and growing up in Brazil and then moving to the United States itself, it almost seems like you take a lot of influences on where your environment and where you live. Who influenced you more? Do you think Brazil influenced you more, or your hometown Miami influenced you more when it comes to building your life and your art?
I think, you know, I was born in Brazil, and but I think I really flourished coming to somewhere far away from where I came from, you know, from my town. And I think the possibilities, the opportunities that I got over here in US was far much more than if I stay in my town. So um, yeah, I think not many Brazilians want to hear that, but you know, the opportunities happen here for my art, and people are more open to something new that they don't know where it came from, but they just like it. You know, nobody's asking, "Oh my God, you know, where you came from? You know, are gonna buy your art because you're from Recife?" No, they just
Mhm.
buy my art because of my art. You know, so.
So true. As as the father of the happy art movement yourself, because you're it's so bright, it's so positive. I want to know when your mindset, your thoughts, when you actually create your art pieces, where does your mind actually go to basically bring in all that positivity in there?
My art go like almost all over, everywhere, because I think about so many things as I'm doing my art. And but I do I never realized that as I grew older, you know, and I think it's a search of this place, this beautiful place, a happy place that I'm constantly going through. You know what I mean? Because I think it was so traumatic, you know, my upbringing, you know, my childhood, that as a child you don't know that, you know, as you grow older and all these things start coming to you, and sometimes you really don't know where it comes from. You have to go to therapy, maybe somebody can help you, or self-reflection that you can make. Like for years I dream about my mother's house, and I was always scared about, you know, something would happen in the house. And I remember growing up there, and as a kid, how scared I was because the back door of my mother's house, was just like anybody could just go through that door. And I was always scared that somebody would come through that door. And I just the other day I had a dream about it, I started thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, the reason it was because I was always scared in that house, so for whatever reason. And so I mean, so many things that you go through that sometimes you need to go to therapy, or maybe if we're able to do a self-reflection and then start figuring out yourself. And but every time when I do my art, you know, I and that's a search of happiness, and I put in my art. I don't want to put something like dark, you know, or pain, you know, and the brighter the better. So
And how do you feel that your art affects people like this all around the world with the positivity and happiness?
oh my God, I feel honor and a privilege, you know, when people start from years ago, when people start telling me, oh my God, your art make me feel so happy and everything. And then I was like, okay, I mean, this universal feeling that we all have, doesn't matter where you come from. If you come from whatever part of the world, we want love, we want to be loved. You know, we are, you know, people get married, they do all kind of stuff, change countries, you know, change sex, does everything to find happiness, you know. And I think that's a universal feeling, and people see that in my work, and I, you know, and it's been amazing. I'm happy to hear that, you know, that feeling that people had to my art. So
Now, I know you're incredibly busy. You're doing art pieces every single day, and you're building an empire. When do you suppose, for you, will there be an end to all of this for you, or will it never end?
Well, I mean, listen, it's gonna end when I die. So like my art's gonna live on out there in people's walls or places. But I I don't see myself turning back to my art. You know what I mean? To what I do every day, come to the studio, creating paintings or drawings, or it's gonna be. I think it's gonna die, and it's gonna end when I die. I think that's it. That's one thing for sure. It's gonna happen.
Let's not let that happen. Romero, let me end it with one last question. Obviously, this interview can end. When audiences everywhere have a chance to watch the Britto doc, what is the one most important take you hope they walk away with after watching your film?
I hope they live inspired and with hope.
That is the most beautiful message. Romero, thank you very much for carrying this
Thank you so
conversation
much
with
as
us.
well.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
And
I love your art.
thank you so much. And I hope that when next time you are in Miami, please come to visit my studio. Okay?
I will. I
My
will.
doors. Okay?
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.